card. I have the trump card. You've got to listen to me. Right. It's the trump card. Again. You all know by now that I'm really into identity. Well, lately I seem to have adopted a brand new one. MSM, everybody. Mainstream media. As a newspaper and TV correspondent, apparently I am part of public enemy number one. And you know what? That's okay. There's healthy critiquing our media coverage, all part of the rough and tumble of democracy. And then there's this.
Oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yes, this, ladies and gentlemen, for the avoidance of doubt, is a video of the President of the United States, among whose many qualifications for office is the fact he once took part in a WWE wrestling match, beating up CNN. This was not put out by some random meme-making lowlife with nothing better to do. Actually, it was. It's the climax of Donald Trump's week of sick attacks on professional journalists just doing their job.
Oh.
I know Trump dislikes people like me just as much as Nick, and I do him. But inciting violence against journalists, while the groups that support him talk about bearing arms to fight with a clenched fist, when I hear that kind of language, I realise that the time to sit on the fence is over. It is time to take sides and denounce these sinister, threatening messages. Whatever your political views, this is beyond a joke. It is time to take a stand.
Well, you're not going to like me, because I watched that and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
I do. It makes me laugh, and I just think it's just a bit daft. And I think you said about sinister, threatening, inciting violence. I don't watch that and think for a nanosecond I should go and beat up a mainstream media journalist. I'm not going to rally my troops behind me and go and storm the Sun's offices because I've watched that.
But you're not the leader of the free world, no offence, but that, when somebody in a position of that kind of power makes that joke, it has a completely different context. Can I just show you something that's just happened today at the G20? Donald Trump...
Don't tell me he's
giving us more insight into how he sees the situation. Just have a look.
What we want to see in the United States is honest, beautiful, free, but honest press. We want to see fair press. I think it's a very important thing. We don't want fake news. And by the way, not everybody is fake news, but we don't want fake news. Bad thing, very bad for our country.
So when I hear him talking about honest, beautiful, free press, I can't help but think that means people who agree with me, and that kind of defeats the point of a free press. So Nick, I can see you, even though usually you are on the side of free press that's respected and allowed to do its job. But I heard you.
I think it's important to say the way you rather skillfully crafted your introduction was as if he's done that recently. That goes back about 9 or 10 years that he did that Foxy. He tweeted it very recently, but the actual fight was when he was doing something with the WWE. So
do I need to remind you about that? I'm not going to give you a choice. Do I need to remind you about the tweet about
Mika
Morning Joe? Just have a look at this as well, please, just quickly, because it's relevant to what you're going to say. I heard poorly rated Morning Joe speaks badly of me, don't watch anymore. Then how come low IQ, crazy Mika, along with Psycho Joe, came to mar our logo 3 nights in a row around New Year's Eve and insisted on joining me? She was badly bleeding from a facelift. I said no.
Right, come back to your central point. How many attacks have there been on journalists in the United States by people as a result of this video?
I don't know. Has anyone quantified it?
Well, let me show you. There have been
and do you
0.
measure this just in physical attacks or in the general degradation
and
of
trolling,
the integrity of journalists?
Point to the degradation. Shall we also give some of the background, which is that CNN, 3 people left CNN, let's put it like that, as a result of putting out a fake story concerning Donald Trump and alleged links with Russia that was found to be absolute nonsense, and 3 CNN staff will go and do other things with their lives.
How many Donald Trumps have left the White House for putting out fake stories?
Well, okay.
How many false statements have his people made?
But it is not as if this is a one-way street. There is now some substance to this suggestion of fake news. There is an agenda now among the left in America where everything that Donald Trump does is to be picked at, denuded, denied, and possibly treated as a pile of nonsense. I, like Michelle, found that mildly entertaining, just as if I saw Theresa May giving someone a good thumping, I would find that mildly entertaining. I do not see any, I think you used the word sinister, I don't see any sinister undertone to it. This is the president. You're going to have to get used to this for the next few years. This is what he does.
I think that This is going to be really hard for America to come back from. What Donald Trump is doing to completely diminish the standing of that country in the world is disgusting. And I don't think this is a laughing matter. It's not funny. When the President of the United States...
Did you think that video was a bit funny?
No, I don't. I don't. There's certain places that are just off limits for our leaders. No, it's fine. It's funny if a comedian's making that sort of joke, not the president who actually has the nuclear codes in the palm of his hand. But I don't want that kind of nonsense.
But isn't there a part
from
of
the
you that
president.
understands that a lot of people can sympathise with the fact that a lot of people dislike the mainstream media at the moment? Even in this country, a lot of people dislike. I almost said us, as I'm proud of it.
That's a debate we can have.
A lot of people.
No,
but hang on. Do you get that people have that dislike at the moment to mainstream media? So when they see that, it kind of resonates with what they're feeling.
No, but when you are the president...
No, but do you get that?
No, let me finish. That's not my point, Michelle. Whether people dislike the mainstream or not is irrelevant. People have their right to dislike the mainstream media.
The White House
but when you are the president of the United States, your mission and your goal and your responsibility is to protect the free press. If you say you are in charge of a democracy...
Let Rachel
I'm sorry.
Just showing a sense of humour helps. It's rare and it helps.
Not like that.
Well, I mean, I think for global mental health, everybody has to accept that Donald Trump is president. And as he says, I'm the president and not you. You know, that is the fact. It's a bit like Brexit. You know, if you're going to kind of get on with your life, you have to accept it. And also, this is how Donald Trump does things. He calls his tweets modern-day presidential. You call them unpresidential. But we have to accept that he is in the White House. And he may decide to turn the shining city on the hill into a trailer park. That's his choice. And until... there is some mechanism for people. He needs a ton of senators and congressmen to decide he's not fit for office for him to go. Until that point, we're stuck with him.
I do just want to bring in a bit more...
What do you think about him attacking Mika? Attacking a female?
Okay, well, I think a lot about that.
Misogyny of that text.
Okay, I'll tell you what I
disgusting.
think. I think it may look like he's trigger happy. He shoots from the hip. He gets up at 7 a.m. Everyone waits for his morning tweet. What he's worked out cleverly is that the people who voted for him, the 62 million or whatever it was, this works for them. That's his audience. He's not trying to win over Afua. He's not trying to win over June. He wants the corn cobbers in the flyover states who voted for him, who are going to keep him in office when they see him, doing a wrestle for WWE.
I don't believe that those people disrespect women in that way.
Well, the thing is, it's not leadership.
It works.
There are people I accept who find it entertaining. I'm not among them.
And there are also people that dislike the mainstream media, so would resonate with that as well.
I have this argument. I know so many people who accuse me of being mainstream media and say that, what we do lacks integrity. You know what? They're entitled to their view. I'm up against that every day. And I always say to them, I work with integrity and do the best of my job to bring you facts. You might not like it. You might find flaws in it. Tell me and we'll engage. Nick, I know you as a journalist of complete integrity work exactly the same way.
Facts
I just want to pick up on what June said. There is a context here. Look, you said how many journalists have been beaten up as a result of this. How many female journalists are getting trolled with racist and sexual harassment and rape threats?
And that's Donald Trump's fault for beating up somebody on FNN.
He's feeding into that. The tweet about Morning Joe and
Mika
is feeding into a climate where we are fair game. You can attack us. You can go way beyond professional.
Based on her looks.
And this is the leader. This is not something.
In this country alone, I don't think you could say that the left is exactly without blame here. They've done some the left-wing supporters
that wherever
have done some vile tweets and have gone after some conservative women. I think it was the subject of Prime Minister's questions last week.
I would criticise that in the same terms.
That's not the preserve of the right.
That's not Jeremy Corbyn. And it's not like Jeremy Corbyn's doing that. The president should not be behaving in this way. I'm sorry.
I want to ask
and his opinion polls, his ratings are the lowest that there's ever been for a president.
I know you're outnumbered, Nick, but I mean, what do you think as a male that he does tweets about women's blood and bleeding and faceless and periods?
Shameful.
Right, so where do you think that leaves him in terms of our regard?
But then some things that Mrs Thatcher, who I thought was pretty good value to this country, she did some very bad things. Not everybody's going to get everything right every single time.
Okay.
No, I offer no defence whatsoever to those tweets. There is no defence.